Hello everyone, this is the Dragon King. Welcome to Dragon King 72 Media LLC on YouTube, Dragon King 72 Media LLC on TikTok, Dragon King 72 Media LLC on Instagram, and Dragon King 72 Media LLC on X, formerly known as Twitter. If you've read the caption, you know where I'm starting, where I'm going, and where I'm going to end. Before we get into the video, let me just say that somebody had responded. I get very few comments on my videos, but somebody had responded that if I would get to the point, I would be more interesting, and if I would get to the point, I would be more interesting. Well, here's the thing. I'm not one of those people who is short-winded. I'm a long-winded person. People like long-form videos, and I think that's best for me so that I can give the right information, give the message that I want to give, and articulate what I want to say by taking my time and gathering my thoughts. And also, if you want to go to another channel where people are quickly saying what they have to say, then go to that channel, or better yet, make your fucking own. Okay, so there we go. Now, we're going to be covering two things here. What is it? The Tate brothers. It's Tristan and, what is it? Adrian. I think that Adrian and Tristan Tate. The Tate brothers are known for their very boisterous, very toxic masculinity, not to mention all the other charges of rape, assault, kidnapping, sexual assault, stealing of passports, and what have you. They were recently, apprehended when they got to Miami, in Miami, Florida, from coming from, I believe it was Russia or something to that effect. They were apprehended, and they were apprehended when they reached Miami, Florida. And of course, you know, they're denying all the charges in front of the reporters. But this is what you get when you have this misogyny. Matter of fact, they were teaching the school about power and wealth, and you know, in those classes, they talked about how women are no good in a power environment in terms of corporate America, corporate around the world. And they really taught these young boys about dominance over women, versus, you know, trying to include a woman's intelligence and see her as an asset to your corporation to build more power. But apparently they were arrested, him and his brother. And you know, in 2025, he had tweeted that Donald Trump was going to save them. He's back in power now, yada yada yada. And so that's what ended up happening. And so now you have someone who is, you know, out here now arrested, him and his brother. They're going to get out. You know, they're going to be bailed out. There's no doubt in my mind they're going to be bailed out. It's just a matter of when, or if not by Donald Trump, or they're going to have some type of media access. I'm sure they're going to be on Piers Morgan within a matter of days. So no one is surprised that that's going to happen at all. So, but yeah, that's the latest on those two. And I hope they rot in hell for all the shit that they've done. And if any of what they is true about the women that they've held captive, raped, sexually assaulted, sexually harassed, you know, in any way, I hope the Tate brothers get exactly what they deserve. So, on to the next story. Where there's a debate going on about haircuts, particularly in the black culture when it comes to black men getting their haircut. Come on. I don't know about you. Stop. I don't know about you, but I'm never paying $100 for a haircut. Now, there seems to be some debate on uh, this $100 haircut thing, and people are using that as an excuse to say, well, if I charge somebody $100, I'll make so much money. I won't have to work only 6 months of the year. Actually, I just think that's ridiculous. I don't think a haircut is worth over $40. 3 or 4 weeks ago, I got my haircut. I had been wearing the afro for at least it was going on 4 years, probably longer than that, 5 years. No, it was about 5 years. I was wearing a haircut, wearing an afro for a haircut. And when I lived in St. Louis, I paid no less than, let's say, 25. I get back to Milwaukee, I'm paying 30. Then I'm paying 35. And I'm like, I'm not paying $40 for a haircut. I'm not paying $50 for a haircut. I'm not gonna pay $60 for a haircut. Why in the hell would you? And especially for most black men, they're getting a Caesar fade, or they're getting the Beijing dust put on their hairline, and they're still being charged $45, $40, $50. Who in their right mind is paying $100? So now the debate comes where the barbershops are empty. Barbershops are now empty because nobody's paying $100. You really have to be out of your mind if you think somebody's going to pay $100 for a haircut. I personally will not. I don't even like haircuts. That's why it took so long for me to cut my afro off, because, and I'm going right back to it, because it saved me a lot of money. Saves me a lot of money. I'll just get it lined up. But I'm not going to continue to probably get it cut once it grows to a certain length. But definitely not $100. $100 for a haircut is fucking ridiculous. Black men get fades. You know what I'm saying? They may get a ball fade, Caesar, whatever the fuck it's called. That's how much I know about it, because I don't get those haircuts. And here's another thing. Getting haircuts every 2 weeks is not beneficial to your hairline. It's not beneficial to your hairline. It's not beneficial to your attractiveness as a male, unless you never had a fucking decent hairline in the first place, so I guess it wouldn't matter. But me, I've never had a problem with hair, with my hairline. It's been pushed back a few times where it shouldn't have been. But as far as it being an issue, I never had a problem with that. My hair would grow back pretty fast. So I've never been the one who would get my hair cut every 2 weeks. In the military, I had no choice. We had to trim our hair. We had to get it down. It had to be serviceable, a serviceable look for the military, specifically the United States Marine Corps. So, we had no choice. But otherwise, there was no need. Otherwise, there was no need for me to get a haircut every 2 weeks. It ain't one now. I'm not getting a haircut every 2 weeks. It does not make sense to get a haircut every 2 weeks. And so because of that, I never had one. And it was not necessary to get a haircut every 2 weeks. So that was not my thing. And it will never be to get a haircut every 2 weeks. Some people believe in that. Some people want to look good. That's fine. But every 2 weeks, you should only be getting your haircut every 3 weeks. You should only be getting your haircut every 3 weeks. If you're cutting it lower than what I have it right here, it should only be if you're getting it cut lower than what I have it like right here, it should only be every 3 weeks you get a haircut. Because it makes no sense for you to keep getting a haircut every 2 fucking weeks you in the barber shop. Now, you might think that's a flex, but it's not. You're ruining your hairline. You know what I'm saying? Most black men who do that, they'll be bald probably if you don't have a legacy of thick hair or no issues with your hairline, then you don't have a problem. But if you do, most black men by the end of their 40s, or it might be sooner, you're gonna go bald. You're gonna have to go bald because you won't have any hair. Now, some of you do those struggle braids and do that struggle look. I'm like, no, it's time to let it go, and that's because It's been either hereditary. It's either been a hereditary thing, or you have years of messing with your hair when you probably shouldn't have. So yeah. So there's that whole debate. Like, why would you cut your hair that way and end up paying $100, $100 fucking a haircut? There's no way. I don't give a fuck who it is. Nobody's worth $100. Nobody's worth $100 every 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? When you guys are cutting your hair every 2 weeks, $100. Yeah, your bank account must be hurting like a motherfucker. But that's about it. That's about it. I've told you about the Tate brothers and Andrew and Tristan. And I hope you've learned something. You men, you heterosexual, misogynistic, toxic ass men. I hope you've learned something from why that's a bad deal. And that $100 haircut thing, no, stop it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I will talk to you later. Peace.